How would if I did a show analyzing the Saul Paragraph of my world, not beyond? I'm your host, Lexi Old, author, 7 Secret Sources of Inspiration, a snappy guide for creative procrastinators. And joining me, a guest, Kid Nate Bloody Elbow, and Let It Roll. See, I don't have books around me, all confused. And
Well, Abu Ghrib's a tough place to be, bro.
It is, I'm telling you, man. And EUGENE'S Robinson, Aussie.com, author of Fight Everything You Ever Want to Know About Ass Kicking. We're afraid to get your ass kicked for asking. Collectively, MMA Pancholes.
Pancholes.
Any more Pancholes left in there, Eugene? Shake it out.
Pancholes.
Okay. So, Eugene.
Sir.
You're the UFC.
UFC, yes.
According to your Bull of the Woods, the UFC isn't interested in fights that make money live and in public, if you will. Is this a negotiation tactic or a PR stunt?
Now you swallowed the end of that word there. Did you say is or isn't interested?
Isn't, is not.
So the UFC is claiming that they're not interested in big money fights.
Not at all. Not interested.
Isn't that a wonderful way to make a virtue of your vice? You know, let's look at those big money fights that they're turning their back on. Well, of course, there's always. Well, then again, there could be. Well, Randy Couture is looking kind of sprightly. What big fucking money fights are they talking about? You know, I got it, man. I'm gonna make a virtue of my vice. You know, Anna. You know what? I like smaller, intimate clubs. I like feeling the people. I don't like playing stadiums. I don't want to have 18,000 people in the seats like in the old days. Who wants that? I don't want 1 million buys. I don't want that. I like the intimate feeling I get from being able to see the 10 or 12 people around the cage gathered and their enthusiasm. I can feel it. It's like, I don't even know if they know why they say what they say. Or to the premise, I don't even know why we say what we say, except for the fact that it's like diplomacy is like saying good doggy until you can get your hand on the rock. Until we got a big fight, you know what we say? We say we don't care about big fights. That's what we say.
Man.
Yeah, I think Nate was like passing out from some kind of opioid-fueled frenzy. That's why I stopped talking. I was about to call 911, you know. As it is with you, I've got my finger. I got 911 dialed already, so I just have to hit the line.
I'm ready to swat you right back.
So what's your take on it, Nate?
This is Dana White giving least favored nation status to GSP. He didn't say this in the context of talking to Conor McGregor or Brock Lesnar. He said this to GSP. Basically, like, shut up, you. Get back in line. Do what I tell you. For whatever reason, GSP is not favored. They don't want to make big money with GSP. They want to bicker with him. And this is part of the argument that they want a GSP to defend the middleweight title he took from Michael Bisping instead of, say, fighting a Diaz brother in a big cash money fight. So suddenly, Dana White and the UFC purport to care about the long-term health of the divisions. This is after they let Conor McGregor rampage willy-nilly through 3 of them. They merged they threw the light heavyweight and the heavyweight champ at each other in a short-term attempt for a summer blockbuster that totally flopped and cost them their heavyweight champion for not even a big payoff. So this is just, wankery.
But it's interesting. It's an interesting kind of wankery because I think what's happening when we get down to papers and calculators and pens is that GSP has a hunger, and the hunger he has is when he looks over and sees McNuggets with a fucking Rolls Royce Shadow and go, I was the bull of the woods with the $5 million payday, but I don't know how much I'm digging being a grocery clerk. Maybe I could put together one of these 10, 12, $25 million fights. Why not? Why don't you aid and abet me in my effort to make that kind of McNuggets money, or so damn near close, or as close as I'm going to get in the UFC? Why don't you help me do that? And the bald one's attitude, largely, I concur with Kid Nate, is like, have you checked recently? You are GSP. You are on the shadowy side of your career. Why? Why would I? Why would I? For what recompense? Why?
Man.
Moolah, Jack.
It depends. If a guy's asking for fucking 20 mil, a guy who I used to pay 5 mil, how many more asses is he gonna put on the seat to justify getting paid 20 mil? You know what? That's my kid's 17th birthday party if I'm Baldwin, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And you don't want him ruining the Conor McGregor business either.
Yes.
All right. So, you already saw what he did. He fights, wins the title. Yeah, that's off the list. I'll tell you when I'm going to fight again.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's not. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I like the guy, but you can't bank on that kind of shit. He's never adequately explained what all that hubbub was about anyway. I mean, it was part the testing. It was part of. I mean, it wasn't really. He's going to his dark places. We haven't gotten any clarity on that. I can't build a business model on dark places. Fuck it.
And you kind of wonder, though, in the sense that how Dana is more, I guess, geared towards him facing Tyron Woodley, because fuck it. That's a champion to get rid of. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
or the gorilla.
Yeah.
If he wins it.
Well, I don't know. And of course, I enjoyed this immensely. I don't know if I'm stepping on the rest of the show, but McNugget saying, look, if I lose to Khabib, I'm retiring. And I was like, of course he is. I would too. It's like, I'm only here to amuse you guys, maybe test myself a little bit, but $150 million, that's a lot to get through, and I got to get getting. So good luck to y'all.
Yeah, I tried this MMA thing again. Yeah, it was all right. Yeah.
I got shot. I want to write some poetry.
I thought you were going to say, where's my large cardboard cutout head?
on my face. No.
Some dancing to do, baby.
I guarantee he's going to move. He's either going to start painting portraits. He's going to do something like this,
With Jim Carrey.
Tony Bennett. All the painters we knew before.
G.W. Bush.
Yeah, oh, my God. Yeah.
It's going to be a triptych.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Speaking about the McNuggets retirement plan, Nate, you're Khabib Nurmagomedov. After your disdain for the moral deterioration of Dagestan was spun as hatred of rap music, do you need to bust some rhymes in a show of unity live and in public, if you will?
No. Khabib's putting on his MAGA hat, baby. I mean, he's going the other direction. He's trying to get. Did you see the whole kerfuffle where he posted the claim that Trump had given his dad approved his dad's immigration status,
yes.
Which was a very bizarre thing to do because I don't believe that actually happened, and I also don't think that would actually help your efforts to make it happen. Maybe he doesn't want his dad to immigrate to the U.S. I don't know, but it's some weird kerfunkery to be pulling, and I don't know. Khabib and the hippity and the hoppity, I think he'd be better off putting on a bunch of parachute pants with a whole lot of zippers on them, bringing a cardboard box out to the octagon, doing a little breakdancing maybe, because it's one of the 4 pillars of hip hop. He could be like, look, I'm not into rap, I'm not even into DJs. I am, however, into graffiti and breakdancing.
He's got that hat.
Yeah, he's got the hat. I mean,
he'd be like Mars. Remember that guy? He used to have a big hat. Yeah.
I do.
But you know what's more disturbing about this than I think any that we've laughed our way through. That this is now we have a date, we have an opponent, right? So like when I told the story on the old Knuckle Up about being at the Fighters Rules meeting and watching Nick Diaz mad dog the guy he had signed the fight like two hours before. As far as he was concerned, as soon as that signature appeared on the paper, the fight began. And it didn't conclude until I get home with my check after the fight's over. Until then, I'm mad dog you at the fight. I'm crawling into your brain pan. So for him, it's a long play. But what we've seen is misstep after misstep after misstep of a guy who needs to be focused on what's clearly going to be one of the biggest fights of his fucking life. And to me, these missteps are killing and they're telling. Whether it's they're major missteps like the fucking homeless guy, paying the homeless guy because that's so fucking funny to do push-ups thing, the hip-hop thing, or even a minor misstep is putting up the video of you working hands. You're not fooling fucking anybody with that shit. I mean, and the thing is that's kind of great about Javier is that Javier reminds me of my stepfather, and my ex-stepfather, my mother's second husband. And my father got divorced when they were 6, right? My father was kind of strict Martinet type character, and we ended up at loggerheads even at the age of 6 a lot. But my stepfather, I would say, I'm going to go do so, and he would kind of look at me and say, I don't think that's such a good idea, but if that's what you want to do, go ahead. Which actually was a lot more effective than saying, look, don't do that. Because it gave me, a kid who was fairly analytical, it gave me some pause. Like, well, maybe that's not the right thing. Maybe if I go into that fucking cave, that dog will bite me again. Maybe, I haven't fully considered this. Let me reconsider. That's what I needed. I think Javier runs AKA largely the same way because if you remember on one of the shows, Cain Velasquez said, listen, when I pay attention to what Javier says, I do well. I win. When I don't, I don't. So it's not like these are not, unforced errors. It's like, well, Javier's going to run a tight ship. He's an advice giver, You think he signed on to, hey, why don't you go on social media and put some videos up of you laughing at homeless guys who you paid to do push-ups? Because that'll be so fucking funny. You think Javier signed off on that? No, I don't think so. You think he signed off on any of that shit that's distracting, head above the sand stuff that's not helping you at all? Nah. So this is an undisciplined camp, and I think like the Marlon line from that Marlon Brando's only directed movie, One-Eyed Jacks. He's like, hey, you're a regular one-eyed jack around here, Paul, but I seen the other side of your face. Ah, man, guy needs to fucking focus because if he wins a fight, he's gonna lose the battle, and the battle is commercials. You think Conor McGregor riding naked on that horse for the Kentucky Derby? Think he did that shit for free? Didn't do it for free, bro. That's how he got the Rolls Royce. It's all the game begins and ends when people looking at you. Don't do stupid shit.
Man. Speaking about stupid shit.
Actually, I got to flag Eugene here. After your recent podcast guest appearance with Jim Goad, I was looking for the racialist, nationalist interpretation of events. Like, did you learn nothing?
Well, you just heard I was doing the thing with Jim Goad. You didn't actually listen to this.
I did actually listen to the first 5 minutes of it. Yeah, the first 5 minutes. It's on my list to get back to. I mean,
the thing is, there was an attempt to try to get into, and I just said, man, as far as I'm concerned, that's all like internet talk. This whole identity politics, and that's like guys behind their computers, using a jargon and the yelping back and forth at each other. It has no weight bearing or reality to it. I just I can't play that game with you. I don't, what did I told somebody today? I'm a bad opponent and a bad compatriot in that regard. I'm not going to defend you and I'm not going to oppose you. I just don't fucking care.
Wow, missed opportunity. You could have drunk deep from the well of a true racialist. The guy.
He denies that.
He denies that. I've been on his fucking user forum group and watched him chase off Patton Oswalt. Ask Patton Oswalt about Jim Goad and who's a racist. It's like the guy cannot pass up a story of black on white crime without reposting it, and that just sets the table. But anyway.
Yeah, maybe. But if you heard the show, I mean, there we go. Like with my Hitler take, it's that like I don't know, man. Or actually, it was not my Hitler take, my Charles Manson take. Look, the guy was always nice to me.
Yeah,
that was what can I tell you?
I have heard he pays freelancers on time. So
yep. Which is more than I can say for me. Anybody who I owe money to, I'm sorry I'm late. I haven't done the paperwork. I got to do the paperwork. They knew, they should have known they had fucked up when they said, Eugene, you're going to handle the accounting.
Who's going to handle the heel turn, Nate?
That would be me right here. And I was about to go off on this nonsense that Paul Gift, writer for Forbes and former writer for Bloody Elbow, still writer for Bloody Elbow, tweeted about Ali Abdelaziz making this declaration in support of the UFC's motion to suppress fighter contract information, claiming that it's because he's protecting the fighters. The fighters really want this information to be confidential because 0.5 public disclosure of such information raises legitimate safety concerns for them and their families, including making them targets of kidnapping and extortion schemes. So perhaps if they did share the information and could bargain collectively and make more money, then they would need to worry about extortion. But you can't. Somebody's making 5,000 a show and 5,000 a win. No, I mean, God hope he's not getting extorted for that.
Well, yeah, you make a joke, but Vita Belfort's sister still has never been found.
It's true, but that was bigger money, and he was a bigger celebrity.
And that's probably what's used against, for the suppression of fighter pay. Like, hey, look, you make too much money.
They'll come get your sister.
Notice that shit.
Yeah. Maybe so. But I had to then overrule that because that's chump change compared to Dana White coming out and I believe misinterpreting a question about automating their office processes and claiming that they were a $7 billion company. Like this is like a dude just cannot get.
You're stepping on my shit, man. You're stepping on my shit.
On your
stomping on the stopper.
Okay, all right. Well, then I'll let the better man.
No, it's okay. I got a two-pronged attack, but so you can finish your thought.
You had a two-pronged attack too, Nate. What's going on here? You two-pronged.
Well, somebody's stepping on one of my prongs. That's why most male mammals just have the one.
Man, somebody sent me that terrible video today of the seal raping the penguin. I didn't need to see that, man. I didn't
even want to know that.
Yeah. Oh, apparently, seals, young male seals who can't compete for the attention of female seals because they get driven off, are holding down king penguins and raping them. And in some cases, at least 25% of the time, then they're subsequently killing them and eating them.
Yeah. I mean, I was about to say, it's like the perfect dinner date, except you don't have to pay for your date's dinner and you eat after.
I can't even think about it.
But I'm bummed. All right.
fuck the internet. That was not fucking cool.
All right. It's all yours, Eugene. You have the floor.
Well, no, I can't do it now because he's got to announce me. So,
Eugene,
sir,
who's in your Lost Battalion this week?
Oh man, it is. People get angry. I understand. People get angry. It's like, what is that song? I think they got something to say because they forgot about Dre. What is that? Eminem's take on the. So they got to. I don't know what it is. How could you want so badly to be in the Lost Battalion that you would fight to be in the Lost Battalion by saying some shit about the genetic, pulling in Nazi eugenics. You're talking about your genetic material being one for the. I mean, I'm sure you probably know, if you haven't already guessed, the Rhonda quote from this week as she tries to rehabilitate her image. It was a howler and a half. About, I mean, on the one hand, I did like the thing she said, which is kind of when I interviewed Halle Berry, which, at one point, Halle Berry was really working herself into a lather about this accident that she had at the time. And there were people going to say, and then finally I couldn't take it anymore. I go, what do you give a fuck about what people say? You care? Who cares? Whatever. End of the day, bank account stays the same. Who cares? So, Rhonda was like, I don't have to talk to anybody I don't want to talk to. Fuck it, I mean, they're gonna slice and dice what I say and make it out to serve their own ends. Doesn't help me. I didn't talk until I was 5 or 6 anyway, as I'm not a big talker. But then let it lay a bit, and then she comes up with that howler about how her alpha gene supremacy won for the ages, a cream of the crop, and she's her debt to society. You know what? It sounded like me drunk. So she's back as far as I'm concerned, because you do realize you're doing fake wrestling, and you're doing fake wrestling with a massive assist for those of us who've been able to stomach it. You got the Mark Wahlberg movie. Don't think that we've forgotten about the failure with Ms. Marvel as well as the Entourage movies. And the reality of it is, already Rotten Tomatoes mixed reviews for the Mark Wahlberg movie. So it's not like you're on the easy street. I did happen to see that movie with 50 Cent in it about the robbery, and I was shocked. I like all the 10 fighters in it, from Max Holloway to there were like half a dozen fighters in it. It was pretty phenomenal, and they all did a great job, better than Miss Cream of the Crop, the best genetic material that this earth has ever seen. So she has. I mean, she hasn't removed Joanna Jędrzejczyk, but never have I seen somebody so boldly fucking bum rush Lost Battalion like Ronda. And it was just as we're gonna. I mean, she was a complete non-factor. But if that's how you're gonna rehabilitate your image, I'm gonna get the popcorn. I'm gonna sit down and watch because it's gonna be fantastic. And then the other one with Nate stepped all over is the bald one. Oh, really? I mean, it's this kind of what is it? Fantasia. It's kind of fantasia that those types of guys get into. You know, with the delusions of grandeur or manic flights of fancy, right? I mean, where'd that $7 billion figure come from? You know what? That's the wrong question because it doesn't matter where it comes from because I said it. I was interviewing Vinny Stigma at one point, and he was like, you know, I used to be hanging out at CB's, and I would see my uncle's pigeons. And I said, how do you know they were your uncle's pigeons? I mean, I stood there at the matinees at CB, looked up and seen pigeons. How would you know? They're like at the top of the buildings. It's like 60 feet in the air. How would you know those? He goes, they were my uncle's pigeons because I'm telling you they were my uncle's pigeons. Okay. All right. But I got you. Thank you, Mr. Stigma. But it's a $7 billion? $7 billion. $7 billion. I mean, this is such a confusion of inputs and impulses, you know, from the $60,000 sword to the $1,000 tip to the $1 million birthday party to a $7 billion thing, and still no talk. You know, I don't know. People are kind of obsessed with this Dean Lister thing, right? You know, the guy, the meth freak who came into Dean Lister's house, and then he pulled the gun, and the guy had to back out. You know, everybody's like.
Now that I know Dean's weak, I'm busting his house tomorrow. I'm just going to take his shit and let him watch me walk out the window.
Yeah, I felt the same way when they some real estate person went public with photos from inside Danzig's dark church, his house that he was selling down Glendale.
That was classic.
With the Count Chocula boxes on the fucking floor, and I'm like, oh, yo, man, look at Dean's place, man. It's pretty fucking skinned out here. Dean Lister, man. So $7 billion, and I put it up on fucking on Twitter. It's like, and fighter pay? Anybody? Fighter pay? Anybody? It's a really horrible delusion. I defended him on this last show stomper, like saying, hey man, it's hard to get excited about shit for 20 plus years, especially since the personalities have become grocery clerk-esque. But you can't. Their input is so fucking confusing, just addled, and not. You know, I'm reading that book Blitzed about the drug-addled Nazi Third Reich, and it's amazing that it took that book that long to write. But once you read it, you can't see anything else. Clearly, these guys were deep into some kind. Oh, how could he entrance a nation? If everybody's fucking high, I've seen guys at parties do all kinds of amazing things high because everybody at the party was high, so of course it was amazing. I don't know, man. I guess he was angry about all the people going to the Lost Battalion and figured I gotta be there too. I gotta see what's going on. $7 billion. Why not 25 billion? What about 100 billion? What about trillion gazillion? The UFC is worth a trillion gazillion. That, mark my words, because I say it is. Fuck. At least we got some convictions today.
Thanks for joining us. Follow us on Twitter, EUGENE'S, Robinson, Alexio, the Kid Nate, Facebook, MMA Pancholes. Please give us a thumbs up, Eugene.
There's a thumbs up for you. Tell you I don't get no respect.
Leave comments to YouTube, SorryMMANation.com, YouTube MMA Nation on iTunes, visibly able. Buy 7 Secret Sources Inspiration. Buy Oxford, Slim Black Duke, and Boonwell's Easy Way Out, where fine music is sold. And listen to Let It Roll podcast. Immediately following the show, Eugene, what do they got to do?
They're going to go right below these fingers right below. And there should be, if Kid Nate has done as he did it, there's a link there. You click on that link. That'll take you to If the Shoes Fit. And we're going to log out and log back in on that same channel, and we'll see you again in about 90 seconds.
That's right. We'll be back with another installment if I did it. And we don't know what we talk about yet because of PR mistakes have yet to be made.